Welcome back to part 3 of our live training session here with our 2018 Yukon Denali. We've been fitted with a Magnuson supercharger kit. In the last tutorial, we dialed in our airflow model at idle and part throttle conditions. Now we're ready to turn our attention into doing our wide open throttle tuning. We're going to be doing this on 93 octane. So we're going to go through the process on our mainline chassis dyno of doing the pulls. You'll be able to see the before and after we update things like our spark timing, and we might be getting into some variable cam tuning in this tutorial. We'll have to see how long our tutorial lasts here, but we'll definitely cover it in the next few tutorials if we don't get to it in this tutorial. We have a lot to cover. Let's jump in so we can check out how to dial in our wide open throttle area of operation. Welcome back to our live training session here with our supercharged Yukon Denali. Our last tutorial we ran into a problem, specifically trying to edit the virtual torque tables and the idle conditions. We were getting some negative timing at idle, most likely because the engine control module was seeing too much reported torque, and as a result, in order to maintain our desired idle speed, it was going in and deciding to pull back the timing. So we want to go ahead and correct that specific problem, or see if we can correct that problem with the virtual torque tables. But the problem that we ran into was version 5.0.6 of the software, of our VCM editor software, wasn't allowing me to edit the virtual torque tables. So I had to roll my software back into an older version, 4.0 something. I'm not even sure what exact version I have here. It was just an older version of the software. This allows me now to go in and actually edit those virtual torque tables. Now what I'm going to do here is provide you guys with that VCM suite folder so you can actually roll back your software if you're having this problem. I actually have 2 versions of the software installed onto this laptop. I have the beta version, and then I have this older version right now, which is allowing me, I've tested, it allows me to actually go in and edit those virtual torque tables. So that was a little bit of an annoyance, and that was my workaround here for just this tutorial coming into this. We are going to be doing wide open throttle tuning here, but I want to address the idle and see if we can fix that. Now, if we can't, and the spark timing is still showing that it's pulling spark timing out, it's in the negatives at idle, there could be a small vacuum leak somewhere. I did just put my hand around everything, around the throttle body, around some of the sensors I swapped over. Everything feels like it's sealing up and I don't have a vacuum leak. Unfortunately, I don't have a smoke tester here at the shop right now. If it's continuing to pull that spark timing after we've edited the torque tables, then there could be a very small vacuum leak somewhere around the throttle body. Although, again, I'm not feeling that, but that would be something that I have seen before. It is a vacuum leak either around the throttle body or somewhere on the intake manifold, a plenum assembly here. So hopefully we're not finding any issues like that. We're having a sealing problem somewhere. Again, I went over everything the best I could. Everything's tightened down, installed properly on this blower installation, but there still could be something that is causing a problem here. So if we can't get the spark timing corrected, there could be a small vacuum leak. And I have seen this before on the Gen 5s. No matter what you do in terms of editing the virtual torque tables, trying to get it right, sometimes we just can't, and that's because there's something mechanically wrong. We have to address that. So we'll see how this is going to go when we edit our virtual torque tables here, and we'll be testing that here just very shortly. The other thing I want to go and mention here is that I mentioned it in the last tutorial and we didn't get to it, taking a look at possibly editing some of our PID gains, or specifically the proportional and integral aspects for our closed loop control, specifically for the short-term adjustments. We want to go in and take a look at that. I actually have a data log loaded from our previous tuning session so we can see if we need to go make some tweaks and adjustments. Typically speaking, when we install long tube headers, we're spacing the oxygen sensors, the primary oxygen sensors, downstream more. So we need to change the OEM response, which is driven by the proportional and integral aspect tables. Those control that switching response, and we don't want it switching hyperactive, essentially, because that it's chasing the signal based on what the engine control module, in terms of the original programming, think that the oxygen sensor is further upstream. So when we move the oxygen sensors downstream, there is more of a delay, and that can create some problems for us. So we'll just quickly review that, see if we make some changes there. Also, see if we need to go in and tweak and adjust our switching voltage tables. Those essentially tell the engine control module where the Stoich value is going to be when it's looking at the primary sensor, which is a narrowband sensor, and we're finding we can compare or overlay our wideband EQ ratio reading, or lambda reading, and we can compare it against what the target's going to be. And if it's tracking pretty well, it's tracking pretty much at target, then we usually don't need to change or
go after the switching voltage table. But if we're finding we're much leaner or richer, typically it's going to be seeing a leaner mixture. We have to edit those switching voltage tables to tell it to hover around a different switching voltage threshold so that it's able to go in and more accurately track to the desired target, which is going to be, in this case, stoichiometric 1.0 lambda. So we'll have to look at that here in just 1 second. So let me go and just show you real quick what I did in order to roll back my software here so you can see how to work with this. Let me go ahead and minimize this real quick. So on my desktop here, I'm gonna go into my training course folders and into the Gen 5 training course. In here, you're gonna find I have a folder. It's called VCM Suite. This is going to be an older version of the software. In fact, it's going to be, we can take a look specifically here at what version I'm running. If I go into help and go into about, I am running here version 4.10.7. This is a much older version of the software. So that's fine. Again, I'm doing this so I can actually edit the virtual torque tables. Seems like 5.0 and newer is giving a problem. So this folder here, you're gonna have to go in and copy this, and you're gonna have to replace under your C drive here, program files x86, jump down into our HP tuners folder, and then here to the VCM suite. In here, this is that folder you're going to have to replace. So you're gonna have to go in and take the folder from our training course and drag it in here. And you need to go and delete this folder. Close the software out, open it back up again, and you should find now you're on an older version of the software, just like I have here, allowing you to edit those virtual torque tables. So I just wanted to make sure you're aware that that is a possibility to actually roll the software back. I hadn't had to do that before, but doing a little bit of testing here, it does work. So that will be found in the Gen 5 training course. You're able to download that, and if you need to have that older version, it is in that training course folder. Let's go ahead and close this out. So what we're going to do here is take a look at the data log I have open. We're going to go in and we are going to just look at some of that data. And
thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here. And you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.